Picking up his 62nd career win was Mike Stefanik, and he gets the Gatorade Front Runner Award being presented by Mark Makovic, media coordinator. First of all, congratulations. It was a great win for you last Friday night.
Yeah, it sure was. I had a great pit stop and charged back to the front. The car drove really well, so it was a nice win. It was they're getting up there.
How about the scores? Win number 63 here tonight. It will take what?
Well, take a great car, that's for sure. You know, you got to be fast for 150 laps, and we didn't do so hot on the draw, but we have a good car, so anything's possible.
That's Mike Stefanik, four-time National Modified Champion, picking up the Gatorade Front Runner Award from Stafford Motor Speedway last Friday night. But earlier today, Bud Pole qualifying took place at 5 o'clock p.m., and when it was all said and done, the Sherms Chevrolet M&T Enterprise car 00 picked up the Bud Pole Award. And Teddy, first of all, you knew you had a fast car from practice.
Yeah, it was it was pretty good in practice, and got to thank Joe and all the guys. Put a good setup in it for time trials, and we got the pole.
Okay, and of course this is the first time you'll be wheeling the 00 in the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series for the 2001 season.
Yeah, we had a tough time in a couple races with 25, and they wanted to stay home, and Joe offered to run his car, so here we are tonight with that.
That's Ted Christopher. He picks up the Bud Pole Award here tonight at the Waterford Speedbowl. In just a moment, we'll be bringing you the starting lineup for tonight's NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series event, all sponsored by Left Turn University. And of course, given the command as we wait for NASCAR to let us know that everything is in place, Sandy Dion will be given the command to the drivers to get everything started here for tonight's Left Turn University 150. Of course, all the drivers strapped in, the helmets are on, the belts now being all secured, as we're just about set for the command, and that's what we are waiting for. These fans already. Okay, and now to give the command, Sandy Dion from Plainfield, Connecticut.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
We're just about set, 30 cars strong here tonight. Let's send it back upstairs to Brian Danko, who will be covering the action.
Well, folks, this should be a great event. This is one of the most anticipated stops on the circuit, short track racing, which is what everybody loves.
The Auto Mall located in Mystic, Connecticut. It will head for cover. We are set. Now remember, cautions do count. So keep that in mind. Cautions do count. But right now we are set for the green flag as they work off turn number 4. The green flag is in the air and we are on the way. One car does not come up to speed. The Howie Broad machine. Tough break for him as everybody tried to take evasive action. Mike Uinitsko now has a long way to go. Not a good way to start the night as we are still great. Here comes Ted Christopher with car 00 now, working to the inside, and now he'll take over the number 1 spot, and now he finds himself out in clean air with car 00, and now caution coming out on the speedway.
Well, that's certainly a tough break for Howie Brody and his entire team who've worked so hard. They had a great qualifying effort because of the
Fuller brothers have had a lot of success on the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series. We are back as the green flag goes back up in the air. Ted Christopher shows the way down between turns 1 and 2, but now the battle's on for third as Robbie Summer gets hung out there. Here comes Mike Stefanik down low.
Mike Stefanik certainly knows with the lead, points lead, he's got to take advantage of it, but running up front is where you want to be, especially here, and right now Ted Christopher shows the way.
So Christopher shows the way down in turn number 3. Currently running second, it is Tommy Corvino. Then it is Jerry Marquis. Then it is Mike Stefanik. There's a couple cars bobbled there coming off of turn number 4. Polverari now with car number 71 trying to work up to the outside as Reggie Ruggiero will follow tire tracks down in turn 3.
Tony Hirschman got a little bit off the pace down there off turn 3, and everybody had to back it off a couple of stops.
In the meanwhile, off of turn number 2, it's still Ted Christopher showing the way. Currently running in second, it is Crivino. Then they're in third, it is Marquis. Further on back, Dennis Gaeta. Certainly is having a strong run tonight with car number 14. That is the Billy Bear Colucci owned car. And Gaeta now working that machine down in turn number 3. He'll follow the tire tracks of Rick Fuller off of turn number 4.
Well, one driver to keep your eye on is the second points man coming into tonight's race, John Blewett, who finds himself at the back of the pack, about the 20th spot because of a poor qualifying effort, but he certainly should be there.
Right now, Tommy Baldwin will follow the tire tracks in turn 1, trying to follow Blewett up through traffic. In the meanwhile, where there's no traffic, that's up at the front of this one. Ted Christopher shows the way with the M&T Enterprise entry off of turn number 2. Tucked right there as well is the number 3 of Tommy Crivino.
How ironic that the two guys leading and well up there in points, Tommy Crivino and Ted Christopher, are two drivers who have yet visit Victory Lane on the Modified Series.
And certainly they've had strong race cars in the 2001 season. Further on back, Eddie Flemke Jr., the Southington, Connecticut driver, now works down to the inside. He'll pull off another spot as they exit off of turn number 2. Further on back, also in that mix as well, Rick Fuller with car number 8, working down to the inside. Following that machine is Tony Hirschman. As we got some good slice and dicing going on. Caution. Trouble in turn number 4 as one machine goes around. That was Jamie the Jet Tomeno, the 1990 National Modified Champion, and that will bring out the caution. So with 17 laps showing on the Budweiser Bud Light left turn unit, about ready to put this one back underway. It's Ted Christopher with car 00 that leads the way down into turn number 1. Tommy Crivino now will follow in the form of the Reg off of turn number 2 as they follow Ted Christopher with car 00. But the battle now is on for third. Here comes Mike Stefanik working up to the outside of the Jerry Marquis machine.
Stefanik looking to make that outside move and does make it stick as he slides in turn number 3. We got a big wreck on the backstretch.
As there was trouble coming off turn number 2, everybody dove down low and angled down wide as there was a problem.
L.W. Miller.
L.W. Miller, and you can see damage done to Tom Baldwin's machine as well. But look at the damage done. The right front on that machine pushed back. So a tough break for L.W. Miller with underway here tonight. The left turn University 150s. The green flag goes back up in the air. Teddy Christopher leads the way down into turn number 1. Now the battle's on for second. Mike Stefanik with car number 21 now finds himself in the number 2 position. Is now he will try to track down Teddy Christopher. Tommy Crivino now in third, Jerry Marquis 4th, Robbie Summers 5th. Keep your eye on Dennis Gaeta with car number 14, as now he's trying to work down to the inside. And I'll tell you, so far, Dennis Gaeta certainly having a strong run.
Well, no surprise to me. Dennis knows the track. He knows which way is the fast way around it, and Bear has good cars.
No question about it, and of course, Bear knows how to set up a race car. Back off turn number 4 and back down to the stripe. It is still Ted Christopher showing the way. Mike Stefanik there in the second spot. Caution right here on the front straightaway. As a couple of cars have come together, the 04 of Fred Voidemeyer, the 17 of Mike Uwinitsko, and John Blewett, who currently runs second in the point standings, was also caught. Right now we're just about ready. They put this one back underway. And it's Ted Christopher down to the inside. Mike Stefanik now up to the outside. But Stefanik drifts up a little bit. Here comes the number 3, Tommy Crivino. He's looking for racing room down low. Can't find the room that he needs. As they'll follow in the form of Ted Christopher between turns 1 and 2.
Again, Teddy Christopher continues to lead. Everybody sort of feeling their way through here, especially on the restarts. It's been kind of tough. But Teddy, Stefanik, and Crivino to the top 3.
And meanwhile, there could be a problem on Rick Fuller's car. That car has been slowing as it came off of turn number 4. The car kind of bobbled a little bit. Jamie Asker's been trying to find a way around that machine as they exit off turn number 4. We'll keep our eye on that. In the meanwhile, back up front, it is Ted Christopher showing the way. Mike Stefanik runs second. There in third, it is Tommy Crevino. In fourth, it is Jerry Marquis, Robbie Summers. And having a strong run tonight is Carl Pastriak.
Carl Pastriak, certainly no stranger to the Waterford Speedbowl, run here many, many times along with his brother Charlie. Looking for that first win.
And meanwhile, the Reg in the NASCAR Kitchens Pontiac is trying to work his way to the front. But I'll tell you who's got a strong race car tonight, and he is working his way up to the front. That is car number 71 of Bob Polvereri. But here comes Rick Fuller. Took a peek down to the inside, thought better of it. Now he'll follow the tire tracks of Polvereri off the corner.
You know, you mentioned Polvereri earlier this year at this track. He tried to qualify, wasn't quick enough.
And right now, Rick Fuller in car number 8 is just watching every move that Polvereri makes as they work down the back straightaway. And then meanwhile, back up front, Ted Christopher leads off of turn number 4. But I'll tell you, Mike Stefanik right now, he knows how to be patient. And that's just what he's doing right now.
Stefanik, the patient one. Teddy, the one who wants to be the rabbit and run out front. But in this division, there's not a whole lot of time to lay back.
So right now, further on back, other drivers trying to work their way up to the front. Jamie Askler in car number 28, the Southington, Connecticut driver. Also, Eddie Flemke Jr., another driver out of Southington, Connecticut, is right now they're nose to tail off of turn 2.
Mike Iwanitzko showing some sparks here. Michael's got a flat tire, and Michael will lose it in between turns 1 and 2. So Mike Iwanitzko's tough luck continues in 2001.
So a tough break. Mike Iwanitzko goes around that there's racing. Of course, he had picked up the Bud Pole for the Busch North Series at Nazareth Speedway there on Sunday. But right now, Teddy Christopher challenging 4-time National Modified Champion Mike Stefanik as they work down the back straightaway. Stefanik now very, very patient, watching every move that Christopher makes. But Stefanik has to be careful because Jerry Marquis is watching every move that Stefanik makes. Further on back, where there's a lot of slicing and dicing going on, Eddie Flemke Jr. with car number 79. He'll work his machine up to the outside of the pass track machine. But look at Bob Polvereri. He's following the tire tracks of Eddie Flemke Jr. Polvereri having a strong run here tonight, working up to the outside.
Eddie Flemke's another driver who would like to get the monkey off his back this year. And Eddie right now running that outside groove, picking them off one by one.
Down the back straightaway, it's still Ted Christopher with the M&T Enterprise machine. He'll lead them back across the stripe. Mike Stefanik is second. Jerry Marquis runs in third. Tommy Crevino fourth. Robbie Summers fifth. Eddie Flemke there in sixth. But keep your eye on Polvereri. He's another driver. He's coming to the front in a hurry.
Robbie Summers is one driver we haven't talked about in the Mystic Missile, the car from just down the road here, Bob Garbarino's car. Been very steady running in this 5th spot. Robbie's shown a lot of promise this year.
Yes, he has. And right now, Eddie Flemke Jr. is trying to find a way around the number 4 machine. Further on back, Jamie Askler, another driver who's had some good runs in the 2001 season. He is now challenging the number 2 of Reggie Ruggiero. And I'll tell you, Brian, Reggie Ruggiero's machine, the NASCAR Kitchens Pontiac, certainly not up to par, but we still got a long way to go. But if Reggie is not careful, and a lot of those machines further on back, and we don't get a yellow, Teddy Christopher is going to start to lap this field in a hurry.
Well, the one thing these guys have had going for them has been there's been a lot of cautions, but you're right. If you go 40, 50 green flag laps, guys like Blewett and Reggie, who are in the back trying to work their way to the front, could be in trouble.
Off turn number 4 and back down to the stripe. It's still Teddy Christopher. But further on back, Tony Hirschman, 3-time National Modified Champion. We haven't talked much about him. He's starting to work his way to the front, and he's another driver. He can be very, very patient with the equipment that he has.
Well, Tony's been around a long time. He's got the championships to prove it, and he knows what he needs to do to get to the front. Doesn't want to burn the car up, but he also knows he needs to be fast at the end.
Well, right now, Rick Fuller is right on the back bumper of the Hirschman machine. Further on back, Charlie Pastrnak, and also in tow is Dave Bergman. But back up front, car 00, T.H.E. Christopher. He certainly has something to prove if he could win here tonight at the Waterford Speedbowl, because the car, as you mentioned, Brian, the car, he's been campaigning all year long. They have come so close, but they have had either some kind of problems on that machine that would force that machine out after being so strong. And right now, this is the first appearance for this car on the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series, and Ted Christopher certainly shows the way.
Well, Joe Brady, the car owner for the 00, has been around a long time. All the short tracks, Seekonk and Riverside and Thompson. So Joe knows what he needs to do to get the job done, and he certainly got a driver capable of doing it.
No question about it, and he's showing that right now. Further on back, Eddie Flemke in about the 6th or 7th position as he's starting to challenge the Summers machine. Tell you, Eddie Flemke has been all over the back bumper, just trying to find a way around Summers. But Summers certainly occurs. Here's a driver that got his career started driving legend cars. Right now, he had success at Riverside Park Speedway, and he's also looking for his first win ever on the Featherlite Modified Series.
And he's looking for an opening to get to the outside, because obviously his car's working much better on the outside groove. And another driver having a tremendous run is Carl Pastrnak.
Yeah, Carl Pastrnak certainly with a strong performance thus far in this Left Turn University 150. Right now, Bob Pulverary with car number 71. Now, you remember back, about 5-6 laps ago, he was following Eddie Flemke Jr. Well, right now, Eddie Flemke Jr., I would say, is one of the fastest cars on the Speedway.
If not the fastest, you're absolutely correct. Dennis Gator looking now to the outside of Bob Pulverary. Dennis has run so strong on the outside here in his SK car, so hoping that magic will work for him in the modified.
And right now also in that mix as well is Tony Hirschman and Rick Fuller. Back up front, it is T.H.E. Christopher with car 00. He'll lead him back across the stripe. Mike Stefanik runs second. They're in third, Jerry Markey. Fourth is Tom Corvino. And they're in the 5th spot, it's Rami Summers. 6 is Ed Flemke Jr. 7th, it is Carl Pastrnak with car number 75. Then they're in the 8th position, Bob Pulverary. 9th is Dennis Gator, but here comes Tony Hirschman. He took a peek down to the inside, thought better of it. He'll follow the tire tracks of Gator down into turn number 3. When they come off of turn number 4, this time by, the halfway signal has been given to the field.
So T.H.E. Christopher has led 74 of the 75 laps, and he's hoping to repeat that sequence over the next 75 and get that car into victory lane. T.H.E. right now beginning to expand about a 10-car length lead over Mike Stefanik as Stefanik encounters the lap traffic of Ricky Miller.
Well, I'll tell you, Brian, it won't be long if we do not get a yellow within the next 5 to 6 laps. T.H.E. Christopher will have to start to work the 00 through some slower machines, and he is very good at doing it. Trouble up between turns 1 and 2. One car goes around, and one car has come to rest just off the exit of turn number 2.
That appears to be the 09 of Bo Gunning.
So Bo Gunning goes around. He campaigns a 25. That is a Diablo chassis car. As the green flag goes back up in the air, and it's Ted Christopher down to the inside. Mike Stefanik thought about taking a peek up to the outside, but he thought better of it. He'll just follow the tire tracks of Christopher off of turn number 4 and back down to the stripe. Jerry Markey runs third, Tommy Corvino 4th, Eddie Flemke Jr. there in the 5th position. Robbie Summers is in 6th. The battle's on for 7th as it looks like Pulverary with car number 71 gets a little bit sideways there, and he gathers that machine back in. And Brian, it looks like Pulverary's car, when we were under that caution, the tires got to cool down a little bit. It looks like trouble back straightaway. Carl Pastrnak goes for a slide. Now he'll come back out into the field. Everybody takes evasive action, including Jamie Tomeno with car number 99, and we are under caution once again.
That's too bad because Carl really had a good run going. He was being very steady, running in the 6th or 7th spot.
Christopher, Mike Stefanik off turn number 4 as they'll set sail down into turn number 1. Stefanik now going to try the outside. Once again, problems on the number 96 machine as here comes Mike Stefanik. Took a gamble going way up to the outside, trying to get around Teddy Christopher. But here comes Eddie Flemke Jr. Bonsai move right down to the inside. He'll take that spot away. Now it's a battle for 4th between Marquis and Cravino.
Eddie Flemke showing that he's been quick all night long. Used a little bit bold move there to move Jerry
Trouble.
Marquis
We've
out
got
of the
all
way.
kinds of cars all stacked up in turn number 1. And we are under caution once again. About 7 cars came together. Most of the machines are pulling away under their own power. And so right now we're just about ready to put this one back underway as the green flag is up in the air. Ted Christopher down low. Mike Stefanik now challenging up on the outside, but watching that going on. Trouble back straight away. One car goes sliding down through the center of the infield. That was the Nevin George machine. He gets it all gathered back up, and we are still racing. But up front, Teddy Christopher shows the way, but here comes Ed Flemke Jr., the Southington, Connecticut driver. He now will start to chase down the Plainville, Connecticut driver, that being Ted Christopher. Mike Stefanik falls back to 3rd. The battle now is on for 4th. Tommy Cravino down to the inside. Jerry Marquis up to the outside. Trouble now. The 34 got a little bit sideways. Jerry did a great job of gathering it back in, but he's going to lose about 3 positions. Paul Ferrari will flash by him, but now here comes car number 77 now, also trying to work to the inside.
All of a sudden, you mentioned Ricky Fuller, and right now he's moved into the 6th spot. So keep your eye on the number 8 of Rick Fuller.
2 cars came together coming off turn number 2, stacking up throughout the field, and 1 car on the back straightaway goes on. We are still green. And right now, Teddy Christopher with car 00. He set fast time earlier this afternoon when it came time for Bud Bowl qualifying, but Eddie Flemke Jr. with car number 79, the Hill Enterprise Stop and Shop Pontiac, is starting to close in on Christopher.
Well, Eddie knows what he has to do to get the job done. He's shown he has one of the cars capable of winning it here, but Teddy, next few laps, will use all of the racetrack.
Off turn number 4 and back down to the stripe. Ted Christopher, your leader. Eddie Flemke Jr. is 2nd. Mike Stefanik is in 3rd. In 4th, it is Tommy Cravino. In 5th, Robbie Summers. Then it is Rick Fuller. Then it's Bob Polverari, John Blewett, Jerry Marquis.
John Blewett, another driver who deserves a tip of the hat because he's fought with that car, got caught up in one of the cautions just slightly, has worked his way back into the top 10.
Well, Eddie Flemke Jr., it's going to be interesting to see when they start to come up into some slower traffic how this will all pan out. Ted Christopher, you know, will do anything that it takes. Trouble back straight away is 1 car. Went off, sitting there out of harm's way.
That's the 75 of Carl Pastriak.
So another tough break for Pastriak. In the meanwhile, our leader will start to come up to some slower machines. The first car he'll have to negotiate will be the 09 of Bo Gunning. Is now Christopher will follow the tire tracks. Gunning gets right out of his way, but Christopher leads the way down into turn number 2. Eddie Flemke Jr. runs 2nd, but it looks like Mike Stefanik may have a problem on that car. Tires could be going away on that machine.
I think that's a very good possibility right now. Tommy Cravino's all over him, and I think Rick Fuller, if he could get by the 4 car, would show he's got a little bit left, but Rob Summers has run a strong, steady race.
Well, I hope that Rick Fuller can have a strong run tonight so I can talk to him down there.
He'll have a lot to say.
Oh, I'm sure he will. But right now, well, even if Ted Christopher wins, he'll have a lot to say too because he certainly deserves a win. He's come so close in 2001, and right now they are coming up on some slower machines. as now Stefanik will try to get around the number 09 of Bo Gunning as they exit off the corner. In the meanwhile, back up front, T.H.E. Christopher now starting to pull away from Eddie Flemke Jr., but you have to wonder, is Eddie Flemke Jr.'s tires going away, or is he kind of just letting those tires cool a little bit, and that gives him more momentum to start to close back in on Christopher?
Well, Eddie's had to cool his tires off, you're right, because he got caught up in that first lap, fell all the way back, and has fought to work his way back up front. So right now, it wouldn't be surprised if Eddie's just backing it off and we got a car in turn 4 wall.
So a problem as one machine comes to rest into the turn 4 Armco barrier.
I think it's Dave Bergman.
And it is T.H.E. Christopher that shows the way down into turn number 1. Eddie Flemke Jr., he currently runs second. Mike Stefanik is third. Tommy Corvino is fourth. There in fifth, it is Robbie Summers. Rick Fuller there in sixth. In seventh, Bob Polverari. Here comes John Blewett. The man who currently runs second in the point standings now is starting to gain on the Polverari machine. One car off the pace. It is Joey Caraccia with car number 94. And you can see the problem right there on the Caraccia machine. In the meanwhile, up front, Eddie Flemke Jr. has got around T.H.E. Christopher's caution now coming out on the speedway. So caution coming out for the Joey Caraccia machine that has stalled right here in the center of the infield there. Tough brakes behind Eddie Flemke Jr. It could be interesting as we go back to green. T.H.E. Christopher will do everything he can now to get around the Hill Enterprise machine as he's right on the back bumper as they work down at turn number 3. But starting to close in is Mike Stefanik.
Yep.
He's going to be in the mix as well.
His tires evidently might have cooled down if that was the problem. But with so many cautions, Mike's had a lot of chance to cool his tires down. Right now, though, like we said, Mike's in a good spot. Everybody who's chasing him is right behind him.
That's right, and now T.H.E. Christopher steps out of line, but he's got to be very careful because if he steps out of line too much and works up to the outside, Stefanik will be right there to dive down to the inside.
Absolutely.
Here comes T.H.E. Christopher trying to work his machine around the number 79 of Eddie Flemke Jr. Eddie Flemke Jr. is strong, but here comes Christopher. He still has some strength in the 00.
And Teddy's going to try to get every ounce of power out of that Joe Brady car.
T.H.E. will actually drive the wheels off of the race car, and that's just what he's doing right now. He's driving the wheels off the car. He's making Eddie Flemke Jr. work for this. If Eddie Flemke Jr. should win, it's not going to be an easy win for him because here comes Christopher once again, working up to the outside.
15 laps to go this time by, and it's still Flemke, Christopher, and Stefanik.
How does the saying go? It may not be pretty. And right now, as they work off of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway, Eddie Flemke Jr., the Hill Enterprise, Stop and Shop Pontiac, shows the way across the stripe. T.H.E. Christopher runs second. Mike Stefanik is there in third. In fourth, it is Tommy Corvino. In fifth, it is Rick Fuller, Robbie Summers. Now, Bob Polverari in danger of losing a spot to the number 77 machine. And I'll tell you, a tip of the cap to Dennis Gaeta. He stayed out of trouble, and right now he is certainly still running with the best of them.
Yeah, Dennis has certainly proven that he's capable of running a full-fledged modified and put on a great showing in his first event here at Waterford.
Well, down the back straightaway, time is starting to tick away. If T.H.E. Christopher is going to get back into the number 1 spot, he's going to have to do it, and he's going to have to do it in a hurry because it looks like Eddie Flemke Jr.'s car is getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah, it sure does. Mike Stefanik has fallen back to about 10 car lengths behind, so it's going to be between Christopher and Flemke to fight it out, unless those two literally fight it out on the track, of which Mike Stefanik would be right there to capitalize.
Well, off turn number 4 and back down to the stripe. It is still Eddie Flemke Jr. Teddy Christopher now trying to work up to the outside. Just can't get the momentum that he needs to work to the outside groove. As we said before, it may not be pretty, but right now, Eddie Flemke Jr. shows the way. Teddy Christopher, he is right there. He's going to work up to the outside, trying to get around the number 79 machine. He almost has a run coming off of turn 2.
He needs to get a good run either off of turn 3 or turn 2. Either way to get a good solid shot heading down to the long straightaways here. But Eddie's doing exactly what he needs to do. Right now, Christopher closes up to the back bumper as they come into turn number 4. 6 laps to go.
Can Teddy Christopher get around the Eddie Flemke machine? His last win came at the Holland Speedway, Eddie Flemke Jr.'s win. His first win came back on July 3rd.
Eddie and Teddy just touched a little bit down there, but Eddie was able to correct the car. Hold on. It'll be 3 laps to go this time by.
Well, Teddy Christopher is all over the back bumper of Eddie Flemke. This has been the best racing all night long for the number 1 spot. Off turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. Eddie Flemke Jr. continues to show the way. They'll come off of turn number 4 this time. The 2-lap marker has been given to the field. Here comes Christopher one more time, trying to work up to the outside, but Flemke is right there as well. Flemke's your leader. Off turn number 4 this time by.
One more time to go. Flemke's got 4 left-hand turns to make it to victory lane. Teddy trying everything that he can, but it appears that Ed Flemke might be able to pull off this win. Teddy Christopher one last time.
Well, let's see what's going to happen. Off turn number 4 for the final time. Eddie Flemke Jr. trying to score his 10th career win here at the Waterford Speedbowl. Off turn number 4 down to the stripe. It's Eddie Flemke Jr. Teddy Christopher is 2nd. Mike Stefanik is 3rd. Tommy Cravino 4th. And Rick Fuller rounds out your top 5.
So Ed Flemke Jr. from Southington, Connecticut picks up his 10th career NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series win. Certainly a tough win for him. Anytime you can get by Teddy Christopher.
As you can see, the top 3 machines, Eddie Flemke Jr. puts the car into victory lane. Good, strong run for Teddy Christopher. He tried everything to get around the Flemke machine. Coming home in 3rd, Mike Stefanik, the 4-time National Modified Champion. Certainly was a good, strong night for him, and we'll talk to him as right now the helmet has come off. In just a moment, the belts will be coming off, and we'll talk to the 4-time National Modified Champion about his run here tonight at the Waterford Speedbowl. How about a big round of applause for Mike Stefanik? Certainly a strong run for him tonight and the Eggland's Best machine. Well, Mike, you hung in there all night. You got to be happy with 3rd.
Yeah, we had a few little problems going on with the left front bouncer, and it got a little loose there, so that's all we had. It was good for about 75, 80 laps, and then Eddie and Teddy had a little bit more for the second half of the race.
Did you think that there was going to be that many cautions tonight?
Yeah, I knew there'd be some. I mean, I don't know if it was caution marked or not, but we actually needed the cautions. Our car was left front really start vibrating in a long run, so I was happy to see the caution.
Okay, Mike Stefanik, he finishes 3rd tonight with car number 21. But the driver who certainly put on a great performance tonight, the driver of car 00, Ted Christopher, still sitting inside the car in the M&T Enterprise Sherms Chevrolet, and we'll wait for him to climb out of the car. The belts are off. Teddy Christopher finishes 2nd tonight in the Joe Brady owned machine. Well, Teddy, I'll tell you, you were the dominant car tonight, no question about it. You certainly had a good, strong race car. What happened to the car toward the end?
Yeah, about towards the end there, but it just wouldn't hook up right away. You know, once we got going, we could pull away from the guys, but just tires wouldn't hook up quick enough for us. So, you know, Eddie got underneath me. It was a good run for us. Glad that, you know, good run for Joe and everybody on this team. Had some bad luck on the tour lately. It's good to finish one.
Did you think maybe in the closing laps there you tried to the inside, then you would go up to the outside? You tried that outside move. Did you think you had the advantage there?
Yeah, because, you know, I run this track here a lot, and that always works real good with the SK here. So, you know, I was working it, but, you know, Eddie was leading, so it was a good run. He gave me enough room there, too, though.
What's the game plan? Will you be wheeling this 00 for the rest of the 2001 season?
No, we're back to Thompson next week with 25 car, Gary Cray and Barry and all them guys, and looking forward to the 300 with them.
Okay, very strong run for Ted Christopher in the 00. But tonight, he scores his 10th win, or 10th career victory. Career win for Eddie Flemke Jr., and we'll talk to him about that. Of course, he picked up his first win on the 2001 season back a few weeks ago at the Holland International Raceway, and tonight he scores win number 2 in 2001. Eddie, I'll tell you, strong race car for you tonight. Tell us about your win.
Well, I thought it was going to be a little bit easier starting third, but we went back to, I guess, 7th or 8th in the start. Best laid plans on mice and men. We went backwards in the start, but that's okay. It just, first part of the race, it was slipping and sliding. I said, let's hope the car comes around. And then about 25 laps in, it just started to turn around, and it just got better and better and better. And I knew with 21 and the 00 in front of me, they're going to be both tough. And Teddy knows this place like the back of his hand. And I had to wait until he kind of sort of slipped. And I think, I don't know if he slipped, but he just kind of left the door open for me. And you can race on the apron here and not slide up into a guy. So it's a wonderful place. This is where I won my very first race ever, and it's nice to win back here again.
Of course, this is your 10th career win. Of course, you got your first win back in 1994 on the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series. Been kind of an up and down season for you. You came into tonight's event 15th in the point standings, but you certainly have had a strong race car for pretty much of the 2001 season.
Yeah, it's been a good year, and I hate to correct you. This is the 11th win.
Oh, 11th win. Okay, then the facts are wrong that the people from NASCAR gave me, but congratulations once again.
Yeah, it's it's hard to keep track of the facts, although it's only 11, so it's pretty easy to count. But this year has been an up and down year. Tommy Trick on my crew said today, you know, every race you finish in a lead lap, you're 1, 2, or 6th or whatever. So I guess our streak is continuing.
And of course, you'll move on next week to the Thompson International Speedway, and we'll see you there at Thompson.
Yeah, I brought a little bit of Riverside Park history. This is our Riverside Park motor in this car right now, owned by R&C Auto Body. This is the motor we ran in the 11 car, Bob Bruno motor, and got us out of a bind last week. We lost the motor in practice, and it's got us through, and it's the 8-year-old motor still puffing away. So,
well, that's it from Victory Lane tonight for the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series. Eddie Flemke Jr. scores his 11th career win, and what a place to do it right here at the Waterford Speedbowl. That's going to wrap things up from Victory Lane. Let's send it back upstairs to Brian Danko.